Welcome to episode 3 of Winning Plays Only podcast. I'm your host, Trey Beelan. Today, I have a special guest with me today, a person that's having big impact in my life through coaching, through just life outside the basketball court, been a winner his whole life, really impactful person to the community and just the surrounding areas and me and also my friends. So I want to introduce my coach, Coach Size. How you doing today?
Great, man. Thanks for having me.
I just want to get into just how life been for you. I know you had one of the greatest gifts of your life, so I just want to talk about how life been for you.
Life is great, man. Thank you for that introduction too. Don't quite deserve that, but I appreciate you.
Definitely a legend.
It was my my honor for you to be in my life, so I'm thankful for that, man. Yeah, life is great. Me and my wife just welcomed our daughter into the world May 22nd, so she's 4 months old as of a couple days ago, and life changed and it's amazing. I love every minute of it. So, yeah, a little bit different now with the little one at home, but she's the joy of our life.
Man, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. I remember when I had my son, it's a really like a big change. You just got to adapt to it. You know what I'm saying? But like you always told us though, the hardest thing in your life, man, you had a good life.
Yeah. She's I tell you, having a child, you don't realize it until it happens, but like she's opened up a whole nother side of love in your heart that you didn't know existed. So it's amazing.
But just before we get into asking questions, I want to read this real quick. You probably don't remember it, but you maybe do. But I had an injury 2017, my sophomore year in 2017. Had a cartilage injury, a major knee injury, which caused me to end the season. And my coach wrote me this. He brought me in his room. This was a while back, 2017. We were just playing Piedmont. But he brought me to his room. He gave me an article about a football player, and he told me this. So I'm trying to read this without getting emotional. He said, "As I read this story, it made me think of you. Don't get down and don't lose hope. I know the Lord has a plan, and you're going to bounce back and play the best basketball of your life the next 2 years. Have faith, take your recovery serious, and stay in the books, and this will be a minor stepping stone to success. I love you, and I believe in you, Coach Size." Yeah, so he wrote me that, and it's stay on my wall to this day. You know what I'm saying? You wrote it on the index card, but it means a lot to me. But you came to Forest Hills and everything just wasn't sweet, you know what I'm saying? Everything, you had to struggle at stuff. So how did you struggle but stay to the script? Because I know you all about winning and being your best every day.
You're right. Well, thanks for sharing that, because I remember the moment. I remember you getting hurt, and I remember you dealing with the struggle, and I remember trying to motivate you and keep you. I don't remember the exact words of that. That was special to me for you to share that. That was great. And you did it. You came back and played the best basketball of your career and went to college and played basketball. So it's fun as a coach to see when your players like take obstacles and turn them into success later. So yeah, first couple of years at Forest Hills, 2012, 2013 was my first year. My first 2 years, I really look back, and I'd say to myself, my first year and a half-ish, I look back and I like, you did a bad job coaching. Like I critique myself, I'm hard on myself, and deservedly so. I was really impatient. I think I was too result oriented, not process oriented, and too consumed with winning instead of letting the results take care of themselves and just sticking to our core values and making sure we were doing things the right way. I mentioned our core values, and you said something along the lines of what keeps you going through that. Our values of family, pride, commitment is what, staying true to our vision and our belief in each other and in our mission was what helped me get through it. And I'll tell you this too, I got a message I had heard a few years before stuck with me, a biblical message, the story of Nehemiah. Nehemiah staying on his wall.
Yes, sir.
And I'll let the viewers, if they want to research that and look at it and whatnot. But the whole message, or the whole meaning behind the message, is that like God gives you a purpose. There's going to be obstacles. You can't let little obstacles and little things get in your way of staying on your wall. Stay true to your message. Stay true to your beliefs. Stay true to your purpose. And so, the Lord was, was really, that message hung with me throughout those challenging times when we were really struggling to turn it around and to get the program going. And it's still something that means a lot to me today. I have it tattooed on my arm, staying on the wall. So that was really important to me then.
Okay, and I know that our morals playing for Forest Hills basketball is family, pride, commitment.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Because we really do embody family. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I called you when I was in college struggling, and my roommate said, "You still talk to your high school coach?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I mean, that's normal."
Yeah.
He was like, "Well, I ain't talked to my high school coach since my last game." I was like, "I don't know what to tell you." I said, "But where Forest Hills Foundation was that it's further than just basketball. Like, if I need to talk to Coach Sides to anything, it don't have to be basketball related. You know what I'm saying?" So, talk about this family pride commitment. That means a lot, and we still say it to this day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, what does that mean to you?
It means everything to me, and I'll tell you the story of how that kind of developed. I grew up going to Davidson basketball camp, and Bob McKillop was the coach at Davidson. And even after I went to college, I played. I sat the bench at Furman, but our team played against Coach McKillop, and I went to his camps as an adult coach, as a coach. So I got to grow up going to his camps as a player and then coaching at his camps, and I learned so much from him about the game of basketball. And he was a big influence on my life. One of the things that always stuck to me, stuck with me about Coach McKillop is he talked about like his core values. And you've probably seen Stephen Curry, TCC, trust, commitment, care. And Coach McKillop would always talk about, and those were his core values, and those were the values that he wanted his program to be about. And he would challenge us coaches that were at his camps helping coach. He would think about your programs. When you go back to your high school program, when you go back, what are the values you want your program to be about? And so he challenged me, to think about that. And so when I sat down and did soul searching and did thoughts like, what do I want my program to be about? What do I want? I want to be bigger than me. My family is a huge part of my life, and so family immediately stuck out to me. I want us to be a family. And I think being a UNC Tar Heels fan growing up helped me with that because the Tar Heel basketball family is known as a family. And so I wanted to be bigger than basketball, and I wanted my mom and my dad and my family and my wife to be a part of the program too, not just a job that I go to and then come home to my family. I wanted them to be a part of it. So family and pride and commitment, those were the three values that I wanted. Like, there was other things I wanted our program to be about, but those were the three main things. I think pride was a big one because people often see pride as negative, and I wanted it to come from a standpoint of we're proud of where we're from. Like, we're proud of, and when I went to and coached at Anson, like, we're proud that we're from Anson High School, and we're proud of the things we have. And same thing at Forest Hills. We're proud of Forest Hills High School, and we're going to get nice things for our basketball program. We're going to do a lot of fun things that other people don't get to do. And we're going to work harder than everybody else, or just as hard as the hardest workers. But because of those, we're going to get nice things, and we want you to be proud of it. I'm proud of your teammates and proud to wear our jersey. Not pride from a standpoint of beating your chest and but pride from a standpoint of, I love where I come from and I'm proud of this place. And then commitment, I think, just stay true to me. Of our world, I think our world struggles with commitment today. People say they're gonna do things, and then when stuff gets tough, they don't follow through on initially what they said they were gonna do. And so I wanted to have a program of we are committed to doing what we say we're gonna do, and we're committed to staying true to our values. So those are the three values that stood out to me. But the long story is that, Coach McKillop, his impact on me encouraged me to think about those values I wanted our program to be about. Right. I hope that we live that too.
We did, and definitely when you say having fun moments, like we won, but really the fun moments was like the locker room, the bus rides, us being at the school, midnight, just playing basketball all night. It just, man, y'all just don't understand. But getting into just why I say you a legend in this community. Just getting into that. He had a 5-year run. I was grateful to be a part of the 4 years of it, where you went 143-14, if I'm not mistaken. That was a record.
Yeah, whatever.
He's a humble person, so you know what I'm saying. So that's average around 28 wins. I want to say, like, for you to have that type of record with the players you had a lot of players that won Player of the Year, Rocky River Conference, first team, second team, all these players. How did you maintain and manage those players? Because they had a lot of skills, so you didn't want to hold them back, but you had to, you know what I'm saying, still have structure.
That's a great question. You said it there, like, you took the answer from me. It's like, how do you have that success? You have a lot of great players. But I would tell you this, I had not just me, it wasn't me, our program had a lot of great players that were great people and that loved basketball. People overlook that all the time about our success that we had. Another thing I took from Coach McKillop was when he recruited to Davidson, he knew how hard they were going to work, and he recruited kids that loved the game of basketball. And you're going to play basketball all the time. And that's same thing with me here at Forest Hills is that, like, we want kids in the program that loved basketball, because we're going to be here, we're going to be together 3-4 hours a day, all the time. And we better love what we're doing. It's going to be work, but we better love it. And so people overlook that you guys love basketball. And I think that was like a huge part of it. And I'll tell the viewers here, and you can laugh about this. You remember, I had to talk you and everybody, talk them out of playing basketball during our season, outside of our season. We worked so hard at practice, in the weight room. We had skill work during the season. They'd come before school. But then when the games were over and practices were over, I knew they were trying to go to the gym or to play pickup or lunch duty basketball in Hargett Gym. Like, you could not keep them off the basketball court. Yeah. And then I would, after Friday night games, I would give a big speech, and I would say, listen, we're halfway through the season. We can't afford an ankle injury or an injury for somebody playing pickup somewhere. Do not go to the aquatic center this weekend and play basketball. Do not go down to the park and play basketball. And I would look at them, they'd all be looking at each other, laughing, and we're going to go play. And during the playoff runs, I'd have to say, you got to cut out weekend basketball. Rest. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was part of what made you guys great, is like you always wanted to play, and that's why you guys were really good. I think the second thing with that is creating a competitive environment. We were always competing, it wasn't hard to manage a bunch of skilled players that wanted to be good. And the idea as a coach is I think I wanted to frame you guys in not competing with each other, but to try to make the ultimate competitor yourself. That you are every day. If I'm coaching a bunch of basketball junkies that just want to play basketball, like, how do we get them to compete against themselves every single day and constantly push them to get better? And every day, like, Coach is not letting up on me. He's not letting me take the day off. If I'm slacking, if I'm not performing to my I'm going to keep pushing you. And that's hard, because I know there's days when you're like, dang, Coach Sides won't shut up. Like I hate him today. And I knew that, but like, I'm never going to let you not be the best version of yourself. And you're not competing against other guys for playing time. You're competing against Trey Beelan, right? You're competing against yourself to be the best version of yourself. So it wasn't hard with you guys, because you guys wanted that already. So you made my job easy. Yeah. Coaching you guys was easy.
I'll never forget when you told me you had to sit down with me in the gym. He was like, Travis don't think you play hard enough. He was like, I feel like you could do more, and you don't play hard enough. Like, you don't have an engine. Like, it's just on and off. You told me about the boiling point. Yeah. About staying 212 degrees. That's when the water boils. So he's like, I need you to play at that level every practice, every game, and that's like really when my game changed. Obviously, coming in the mornings and things like that, but that's really when my game changed. But you've been to 5 Final Four appearances, 2 state championships, and on 5 years. I know the first 2 years of going to the Final Four, we fell short, but we did deal with a lot of injuries, right? Yeah. And how did you adapt to dealing with those injuries? Because it was kind of injuries of key players that play key roles.
Yeah, it was difficult. Those runs were special, even losing in the Final Four those years to East Lincoln and North Surrey at Wake Forest that second year. It hurt to get so far and get so close, and just, to not punch our ticket through. But those things, man, they happen for a reason, and I wouldn't trade it now because they made us, into who we were. At the time, you couldn't have told me that. At the time, I was hurting. Both those years is interesting. Both those years we lost in the Final Four. I felt like going into the game, and our coaching staff knew, and obviously as a coach, you don't communicate this to your players, but our coaching staff knew, we're probably not the better team. We got to pull an upset to get there. Like East Lincoln, I thought East Lincoln was the best team in the state that year. I mean, they were winning the state championship by 15 in the fourth quarter, and got beat by Farmville. Farmville came back and beat them, but felt like we were a little bit of the underdog there. And then against North Surrey that season, North Surrey team, they were so good. We were the underdog, and we felt like we needed to pull an upset to win, especially with our injuries, and we weren't able to pull the upset. So that didn't make it any less easier. But it made the next year extremely sweet when we punched through against Salisbury. What was you had a second part to your question too? What would you
just about adapting? You answer them just because, like you said, the key players. I feel like it'd be hard to adapt because I guess at the beginning of the season you have like a plan of like, this how I'm gonna run my team, and this is what we're gonna do. Then injuries happen. Like I think our second year I was maybe 3 injuries season. So
I think that's a great question, and a lot of coaches think about. People go into the year in their mind with like a set group of like, I'm going to play 7 or I'm going to play 8 or I'm going to play 10, and then as the playoffs get closer, I might only play 9 or 8 players and have a rotation, And of course, we did that too. We had a rotation that we like to stick with, but our goal going into every season was. In all our coaches' meetings, we would say, like, what's our goal for our team? We'd have different goals, but our goal on the court is let's create the most skilled team in the state of North Carolina. Doesn't always mean like the best team, not always the most talented, but can we create the most skilled team? And that was our goal as coaches throughout the entire calendar years. Let's put the most skill in our players. And as you know, basketball is a skilled sport. A lot of times the most skilled players aren't necessarily the best players because it could be height, could be weight, could be just natural talent. But we wanted to create the most skilled team. So I think that helped us in those years when we had injuries. We approached it like we wanted our number 10 guy who got the 10th most playing time, or our number 11th or number 12. We wanted those guys to be better than the number 10s on the other team. And number 11 on our team, who doesn't ever see the floor except for if we're winning the game by a lot, we want him to be better than the number 11s on the other team, and that way, it creates an effect where our players are playing against the best players in practice every day. And then if you have somebody go down, somebody's ready to step into that role. And guys adapted that. Yeah, I thought they did a great job adapting. I remember in the Elite 8 game at East Rutherford, we had injuries, and then Keyshawn got disqualified from the game. Sorry, Key. And then Tyrese fouled out. And I remember turning around to our coaches, and we had a lineup on the floor in overtime in the Elite 8 that we had not played together all season long. You were out, and I'm just looking like we had guys out there, and to their credit, like they found a way to win the game. And so that was a testament to them. So it was really, really cool. That was a really rewarding win too, because it was an entire team win. We had guys out there that hadn't played in those situations all year, and then they came through.
So how did it feel 2018 year when we finally won? Like, did it feel like, was it like a relief? Like finally, I know I cry a lot. You know what I'm saying? So what was that feeling like?
My dad asked me the same question that night that we won the state championship. I remember him asking me, like, was it a relief or how do you feel? Because I'll be honest, as a coach, sometimes there's games you win and you're like, I'm relieved. I'm not really happy. I'm relieved. Like, we didn't play well tonight. We deserved to get beat, but we found a way to win. I'm relieved. I'm telling you, Trey, the state championship was pure and utter joy. Like, a dream that I wish every coach could experience. The joy, I didn't know that joy existed to feel that way. And it was special, like, looking in the stands and seeing like our community, like I've never seen them that, like people hugging and people crying that, I'd never seen at games before. And then to see you guys celebrate, to get to hug my dad on the court after winning the state championship and coaching together for all those years, to get to hug you guys. I will say this, though, that thrill, the greatest thrill for me when winning the state championship was seeing you mentioned it, you guys, the players, moved emotionally to tears. I didn't expect that. Teenage boys, as you know, teenage boys are macho and they don't really cry in front of people. And they'll exhibit joy, but they won't cry. And on the court and in the locker room after the game and even on the bus ride and just when we're celebrating, there's this group of young men and they're crying, but tears of joy. And as a coach, that's the greatest feeling I've ever had as a coach, because you go through like the ups and the downs and the injuries, and you go through, like, you see your guys and you're with them through all the practices and all the sweat and the disappointments and the failures. You mentioned the years before, and you're with them through the moments when you're busting their tail and you're on them, and just the journey with them, and then to see them succeed. Like, I'm sure I'll feel a lot of the same way one day when my daughter, like, when she's had success, I'll feel that. I felt that with you guys. You guys are like, you know, my son. So, like, to see you move to tears and happy, how happy you guys were, that was the thrill of my coaching lifetime. Like, it was the greatest feeling. It's hard to put into words. But yeah, that filled my heart with joy.
That was like it was a relief game for me.
Relief game, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I finally made it through a year with no injuries. You know what I'm saying? That was like a big relief, and all the hard work I had put in, getting to the gym early and going to weights right after, then staying after school doing team workouts. It was like like a reward. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I remember I jotted down some things when you said you're going to ask about the state championship year. I jotted down like a few memories. So people point to the state championship and remember like it was won in that moment, but like there's so many memories. It was truly like a team accomplishment. I'll just read you like some of the things. I remember like one moment that sticks out to me, your 3 against Salisbury in the Final Four. Yeah. It was like a minute and a half left. We were up by 2, and they were good. And that, going into that game, I remember thinking as a coaching staff, we're like, this is the first year of the Final Four. Like, we're not underdogs. I think we might be slight favorites, but we're like dead even with Salisbury. Like, they were sticky. They wouldn't go away. And we had been up by 10. They took the lead, and then they were rallying to come back. And you hit that huge 3 at the top of the key to put us up 5 with a minute and a half left. Probably don't win the game without that shot. Like, that was huge, and that was a big moment for you. I remember you being upset in the locker room, or just you being emotional in the locker room afterwards. People overlook this. I wrote down this idea. Do you remember how Jaleel and Jamilan, in the state championship, you were most outstanding player, and then MVP was Ja. Mm-hmm. But the job that Jaleel and Jamilan did defensively, like Jaleel guarding the other team's point guard and Jamilan guarding Maji Dodd, that got lost in the mix. But like Green Central was thrown for a loop with how they bought into their roles and how they defended. It was a masterclass defensive performance. A lot of folks won't remember that, but that was impressive. I remember Quan in practice leading the charge, well, kind of with the defensive unit challenging the starters and him getting in y'all's face and fire. I mean, we don't win a state championship without that, without the group of backups like challenging the starters every day in practice.
We really used to lose. Especially Quan, short, strong, gonna rough you up, and Coach Sine's not calling no fouls for you.
I'm not calling any fouls for the starters in practice.
Yeah. So he definitely and that made us better. Definitely made us better. I tell people that too this sometimes when I actually want to go talk to the basketball team a couple years ago. I was like, but y'all don't understand how big a role practice players play.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Keyshawn, two things. He in the state title game, we went on a run when he came in, and he didn't play his normal amount of minutes in the state title game. Like, he didn't get quite amount of the same playing time. But his block, he blocked a shot that was going in, but he blocked basically a layup, and then recovered a loose ball. We went on a huge run after that play, and then in the Walkertown game, he did the same thing. I remember him getting a steal and diving on the floor for a loose ball and saving it, and then we went on a huge run to come back against Walkertown. Like, those were huge plays that nobody looks at, but Keyshawn, we don't win a state championship without that. Yeah. Everybody remembers Jai's huge threes that he made in the state championship game, but people won't remember this one. We were struggling. It was the third quarter against Walkertown, and you remember how we were out of sync that night.
Yeah.
And I'll wave, the lights could come back on. We were out of sync that night and couldn't get anything going. He took and shot a huge three right in front of our bench. At the time when he shot it, it was real deep, and there was a man in his face, and I was thinking, oh, it's not a great shot. We've been trying to struggle offensively. We've been trying to get to the rim. We're trying to fix our offensive woes, and it goes in. I think he got fouled, too. That three kind of got us going. I mean, it was huge. This huge shot he made. I'll have fond memories, not then, but now, of Marvin Ridge.
Yeah.
We lost to Marvin Ridge. People don't realize how that exposed us to our own self defensively. Like, we weren't the defensive team that we needed to be, and I don't think we realized that yet. That game made us a better defensive team, and we became a lockdown defensive team. Part of it was because of that. And then the loss to First Assembly, like, we kind of were feeling ourselves a little bit. I think we were on a winning streak, and we weren't playing as together as we needed to be. That loss to First Assembly taught us a lot about being a team. Yeah. So I have one more memory I'm going to let you tell the folks about. I wrote this down because I want to talk about it. Tell these folks about Waffle House. And I'm going to tell you why it was important, because I've never told anybody this.
So, listen, we and the East Coast Invitation in Jacksonville,
North Carolina at the beach.
North Carolina at the beach, and we just lost the game.
In the summer. It's the summer.
Summer league, we just lost the game. And as a team, we do stuff as a team. So as a team, we was like, man, we're going to go to Waffle House late night. We was like, we all hungry, let's go to Waffle House. Then we went to Waffle House, ate good and everything, right? We got up the next morning, heard a knock on the door. Coach Sines always wake us up, we think everything good. He come in there, he asked us, so who all went to Waffle House? We all just looking at each other. He's like, oh no. So we just look at each other. Like, bro, we ran so much. Like, we tried to fake cramps. We tried to say we pulled our hamstring. He was like, well, we're just going to be here all day then. And he the type of coach, when you doing condition, if one person on your team don't make it, then y'all don't make it. And he would sit there and have you run. I remember times we done ran and people saying, I'm about to have asthma attack. Well, I can't do it. He just looking like, well, you just walk out the gym. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was a crazy time.
So, yeah, I'm asleep in my hotel room. I got them all to bed. This is a summer tournament, by the way, and I go to bed. They're great young men. Like, I've never had problems out of them, and so I trust them fully. I go to sleep and I wake up the next morning and I found out they snuck out at 2 a.m. or whatever and went to Waffle House across the town. So I was furious because I'm responsible for them. Something would happen to them, and they lied to me and they snuck out and they knew better. Got up that morning and thought about what I wanted to do to them and whatever. But anyway, I texted all their parents, told them everything they did, and then I told their parents what I'm about to do. I'm gonna put them through a big punishment, and all the parent replies were like, "Great, get them, coach." I'm gonna get them when I get home too. They had great parents that were amazing supporters, but that was an important moment, and I haven't told anybody this. So we're out. It's hot. It's in the summer. We're in Jacksonville, North Carolina. It's the middle of July, and we go out to the football field at was it Jacksonville High School or Northside High School?
Northside.
And we jump the fence and we walk to the field and we just start doing conditioning. And I was making up stuff to make them do.
A basketball court out on the track.
Yeah. And I was mad, but a huge moment came from that because we had never done this before. But at some point during the middle of the run, and you might not remember this, at some point their demeanor changed. Y'all changed from being mad about having to run and getting caught to the conversation, the body language changed to, we screwed up, we deserve this, let's make the times. Let's help each other make the times. Coach is right for punishing us. I remember hearing those words. And like, we screwed up. We have a consequence. Let's do it. And I've never told anybody this, but that moment on that field in July, I said to myself, we're going to win the state championship this year. And, of course, I didn't know if we were going to win the state championship that year because we still had to play the games. But in my mind, we just crossed the barrier from a team that, like, needed to be coach-led to a team that was player-led. Because now it wasn't me telling y'all, hold each other accountable, do your work, be your best. Now it was you. And you guys you went through a transformation during that trial and on the field. I literally, in my mind, it went, this is going to be the best thing that happened. We worked all summer long and played all these games. The most important thing that happened all summer was right there on that field. Like we transitioned into like an accountable team, a player-led team. That was special to me. So
that was a hard time.
Yeah, that was a lot of that was tough.
Yeah. And then I want to get into the 2019 class. I was grateful to be a part of, but we retired our jerseys. Like, what led you to, you know what I'm saying, to that aspect of, you know, what they deserve, their jerseys retired?
Yeah. What can I say? History. You know, you guys at the time were the winners class in Union County history. The next year, Brandon and Dylan and Jalen's class beat y'all. But 4 conference titles, 4 Final Fours, I think 3 conference tournament finals titles, 2 state titles, 1 state championship. But it wasn't like when I sat down with Dr. Plew and I sat down with Coach Thomas at the time to talk about retiring the jerseys, my approach and proposal to them wasn't because of all like people get their jerseys retired for individual reasons. My proposal was completely different. I was like, we're not retiring individual jerseys. We're retiring a team. And because those 5 guys embodied a team and they cared about each other, they loved each other, and they were brothers. And we're not retiring, you know, Trey Beelan that averaged a career amount of this many points and Naz's points and you know, Jai's threes and all. We're retiring like a brotherhood that did things the right way and accomplished the ultimate goals together. Like we're celebrating a team, not celebrating individualism. And they were like Coach Thomas and Dr. Plew were head over heels for there. Like that, we should 100%. That's the message we want to send as Forest Hills as our school is we're a team, we're a family. And so that was the approach.
That was like one of the meaningful things. Like that's like something I always like had pride in. Like
should.
You know what I'm saying? That's a big accomplishment.
You guys earned it.
And then we talk about the next year, right? You lose 5 seniors to the program. Prior, you had a lot of people doubting you. You know what I'm saying? How did you script? Because you had to adapt. You had new players and new systems. So how did that come along? Like, we got to do this different. We got to do this. We got to do this. How did that come along?
Every team is different. And every team I've coached is like special to me. I don't want to say that team was more special than other teams because then that's doing players an injustice. I will say this though, like that season was just as rewarding as any season ever. Like I would say, even though we didn't win the state championship that year, the feeling of that season was just like the state championship because that team was the outcasts, meaning like we had just lost, you know, this group that we had retired jerseys. We had lost 5 guys. And we were rebuilding. I cannot tell you how many people around the community, and they didn't mean anything bad by it, but people had said like, "Oh, it's gonna be a rebuilding year, right, Coach? Like we got a really good group coming from East Union. This freshman group that's coming up. Like you'll be good again in a couple years." And like that, like I would say, "Oh, thank you so much. You know, appreciate your support." That would fire me up because the guys, I thought that was an injustice to the guys on the team. I mean, and it was special to me because Brandon and Jalen and Dylan, they had grown up going to Forest Hills summer basketball camps. I'd known them since the 4th grade. Yeah. So when Brandon was running around in a little like Golden State Warriors jersey and had a mohawk, and you know, I remember Dylan crying about every call and Jalen being small, and they had grown up into men, and then Mashad had been the JV's leading scorer the year before, and nobody really thought about him coming up, and just that group just gelled. It was special to me because I saw them. They all like bought their time. Like they didn't get frustrated because, well, I'm not going to play because there's 5 guys in front of me. They're seniors. Maybe I'll go somewhere else. They stayed. And people didn't realize how good they were because they played behind y'all. They played against the best players in the state every day in practice. So when it was their turn, my thought was like, what are other teams going to put against us that they haven't already seen? Because they played against the best players in the state already every day in practice for the past 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew they were going to be good. I didn't know we'd be 29-0 going into the Final Four. But I was excited about that group. And so it was special to me to see them get the recognition.
So we were back. We had a little technical difficulties, cameras died. And just want to get back talking about the 2020 year when y'all went to the Final Four and lost like beginning of COVID.
Yeah. So I think I'm leaving off where I was talking about. It was a blessing in disguise to have that loss because we got to have a locker room where we told each other goodbye. The 2 teams that made it to the state championship, and congrats to them, and that they won a state championship. They were rewarded that through COVID. Now that I look back, I'm like, we wouldn't have got that closing piece. We wouldn't have got that locker room, and that locker room was special. It was hard because we had just lost and we knew our time together was ending. But the things the guys said and you could tell the bonds that were made throughout that season. We hadn't lost yet. We were 29-0, and that was our first loss. And that was the most important moment of the season right there in that locker room. But you could just tell, like, the love and the brotherhood was real. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. So, thankful in a way for a loss. It ended up being a blessing for us to be able to share that time together and that moment together. So
special moment, especially that close moment when you're a senior and you sharing that last moment with your brothers and your teammates. It's like really just a special moment.
You realize what you mean to other people. Like, it's fun to see. It's not fun, but it's meaningful for you as a coach to see what your players meant to each other, and they really did love each other, and they really were brothers, and it's like, so it makes you feel good inside that, like, it was more than basketball.
Got you. Then last thing before we end the podcast, I want you to leave the viewers with a winning play, which is some positive advice that can apply to their life. It could be anything, just positive, a winning play.
When you told me you were going to ask me this, I thought about it, and I just thought about sharing something that's been on my heart for years, but like I keep coming back to it. Like, to me, as I think about my 20 years in teaching and coaching and look back at my career, the number one factor in success of young people and the number one thing that young people are missing today, I feel like, is grit and perseverance. And that's hard. And I asked myself as I was becoming a father, like, what qualities do you want your daughter to have? And that's the first thing that comes to mind. I want my daughter to be a gritty person. Like, doesn't mean she has to play sports. She can be gritty in a lot of other things, but like perseverance and being able to grind through things, I just think it's the number one factor in the success of a person. Now, I don't think it's talent. I don't think it's intelligence. I don't think it's money. Like, how much are you able to endure, like good and bad? Because I think the world, like, I'm not a negative person, but I think the world is soft. Like, we are soft today, soft because of success and soft because of failure. I think success makes people soft, and so does failure. Failure causes people to be soft and quit. And our job as teachers too is not just to teach the curriculum, but I think to teach as teachers and coaches and parents, can we teach our kids grit? And can we allow them to fail, but not allow them to fail and quit, but can we allow failure to harden us into a tougher version of ourselves? And same thing with success. Like, can we teach through success to develop this grit? And then, like, the whole idea, I feel like, is to, can we create this person, this quality of they're unshaped by success or failure. That what happens to you, good or bad, doesn't matter. It's just you just keep coming back the next day or the next practice to be the best version of yourself. Whatever happened before, it doesn't matter. Like success, winner, doesn't matter. Can I keep being the best? And that's hard because it's like success is not linear, or sorry, growth is not linear. People expect to grow and just keep, there's going to be ups and downs, and like growth takes like a ton of like little bitty, like small efforts daily over the course of time, and it might be years. Right now, like I feel like in education and just in general in the world, we need more of that. We need the toughness of keep coming back every day. Your reward is not going to be instant. Your reward is not going to, instant gratification is not there. But can you keep coming back? And when you do get gratified, does that affect you, or do you keep coming back more and more? So, I hope to try to teach that in my classroom. I hope I taught that when I was coaching. I hope I teach that to my little one as well. So that's I think grit's crazy important.
Yeah, definitely. Like just with the malfunction you just had, you got to keep going.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say, man, it's a pleasure to have you, Coach Size. Like the impact you had on my life, and just being there, you know what I'm saying, as a coach and as a extended father figure, you know what I'm saying? But I want to say just thank you, and y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and actually leave a comment if you learned something, and make sure you share the video and turn on post notifications so you don't miss another video. But that'll be the end of episode 3 of Winning Plays Only podcast, and had a special guest.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you, brother. I'm humbled to be here. Humbled to call you a friend.
It's
Love you, man.
Love you too.